Hey, hey, welcome back, guys. All right, so let's get into this. It's going to be a single storyline. Happy Wednesday, everybody. All right, here we go. We start with the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords upright says we have clarity. Someone is cutting through the cobwebs of their mind. This might be that someone is getting clarity on where their obstacles are because mountains can represent obstacles. And sometimes we don't know if there's a mountain there if we're too, otherwise discombobulated to recognize like, oh, okay, here's where the actual problem is. Now I just need to get a solution to that problem. First, we got to identify the problem. So I'm thinking that there is a wonderful sense of clarity for a character. Could be a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. We just doubled down with the Ace of Swords again. Hi, Annie. Great to see you, love. By the way, a Capricorn video will be coming out as soon as it's done processing. It's already been recorded. Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords. Look, the big obstacle for somebody is getting the door to open. I feel like a character is now, first off, clear on what they want. And now they're clear on what needs to happen, which is just maybe they just got to knock on the door. Sometimes when we want something, we actually go ahead and present ourselves. Now we do have a letter, but the letter is sitting here. Sorry, now it's hard to see. The letter is sitting here behind the little daffodils pot. So I'm wondering if the letter didn't get delivered properly or someone didn't ever find the letter that was delivered. So we could have a character that reached out for something and it's time for them to do some follow-up because they don't know if it ever arrived. King of Pentacles. You know, if this is a Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus, possibly divine masculine, it does say that he'll be more empowered by simply doing that follow-up. Like think of if we put in a resume for a job and then we haven't heard anything back. We really want that job. What do? We usually touch base at some point. Hey, I dropped off a resume a couple weeks. I know that processing can take time, but I just wondered if you guys already hired for the position or, I was just real interested because this is a very alluring prospect for me. Checking in really just shows your confidence. It shows that you want it. It shows that you know who you are and what you want. It's not like I'm clamoring, I have to have this, give. It's not that. It's really, that sometimes is what wins somebody the job when they touch base again and they're that serious. Like, I know what my worth is. I know this looks amazing. This is where I'd like to put some of my energy. Is the position still available? Now, obviously, this is a singles storyline, so this is most likely more about love or communication with someone where they want to talk to this person for a reason that would have to do with, I want to build something, a foundation together. First off, I now know I really do want this because it's not leaving my mind. If I already put out some effort, but I didn't hear back, maybe it's time I step forward and I readdress. Or maybe this will be the first time someone has actually taken the step to send a letter. Maybe that's what they're realizing is I haven't even knocked on the door yet. Now I know what I need to do. I got to go knock on wood, baby. Hi, everybody. Great to see you all. All right. So we have got the 10 of Wands here. 10 of Wands is, I think it would make life a lot simpler, unburden things if he just goes ahead and does what his soul really wants to. It's funny how we can get confused about what we want. And then once we get clear on it, it's like, oh, well, that's easy. My stress is gone. I know exactly what I want to do. I want to reach out to somebody. I want to tell them how I feel. All of a sudden, problem solved, stress gone. I think it's harder when we live in a limbo land and we're not sure what's making us uncomfortable. Honestly, I'm a little bit famous for that. I'm not always very good at figuring out like where some like tension is coming from. And then when I do, it's like, oh, that seems really simple. How come I didn't put my finger on that before? I think it's probably because I'm a more emotional person than like a clinical person. So I feel stuff before I like can dissect it and get words. I'm not very good at finding words. So I could understand that character, the confusion, then finding the clarity, then finding the solution, then finding the action that needs to be taken. And then it's like, okay, so now it's go time. Knight of Swords. It's time to talk. It's time to send the message. I do feel like this is somebody who needed to send a letter to an individual to open up dialogue. What are you hoping for? And we're going to say him because we've got exclusively masculine showing up so far. Okay, Justice card. Hoping for equitable response. So maybe this is somebody who's like, I need to say sorry to that person. I hope that they'll accept or receive my apology. I don't feel like this is hangdog apology vibe, though. I feel like this is possibly new, a new attempt, new love. I'd like to get to know that person. Hopefully, my motive is I'd like to reach out, give them my respectful, inquiry of I'd like to get to know you. Do you share that opinion of me? Oh God, are we going to do all 1960s songs? Because now I'm that song that, I shudder to say it out loud because it'll get stuck in your head on repeat. Oh yes, I'd like to get to know ya if I could. Oh yes, I'd like to get to know ya. Oh, that song. Please, can we can we pray to the god Sobek, the crocodile god of the Amazon, for mercy and help us get a new song in this storyline to wash away that other one, because it will be in my head all day and I don't want that one on repeat. We got a Queen of Cups upright. Yeah, it is to open up. His real motive here is I hope she'll want to give an emotional give her emotions to me. I hope she'll receive my message of a very respectful offer. I hope she'll be returning the emotions. Specifically, he wants her emotions. He wants to offer something stable. Like, he obviously wants to establish lines of communication. He wants to get to know her, and he hopes she'll say the same. Yes, that sounds lovely. Okay, I can also see why that would be just a little bit nerve-wracking. Like, it shouldn't be. I mean, it should just be super awesome. I mean, like, how beautiful is that this lovely queen has this lovely king who wants to get to know her? There's nothing in that wouldn't make somebody feel really good inside. Like, that's so awesome. I'm, kind of all aflutter that he's interested in me, that he's this wonderful person, wants to get to know me. Nine of Cups, I think it's going to make her feel like $1,000,000. Nine of Cups, she could be floating on air, in fact. It's always lovely when someone, pays you a compliment, when somebody, respectfully approaches you. That's always going to be something that is going to make somebody feel good, even if it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm married or whatever. We don't see her as married. We see her as single right now. And this is a single person story. But even if somebody, gives an otherwise taken individual a lovely compliment, and they have to say, I can't accept, but you just made my day, or, something like that. But this is a single story. My point is having a respectful approach and telling somebody that you'd like to get to know them because you think they're lovely. I don't really see where there's ever a downside to that. At the end of his life, is he going to be like, damn, I so wish that I hadn't said something nice, respectful, and complimentary to someone that I felt that way about? Like, are those the things that we regret at the end of our life? No matter what the outcome is. But here it looks like she's going to be super happy. We have got the Page of Cups. It is in the reverse. She's super happy because this isn't starting out with a romantic gesture. This is starting out with him wanting to get to know her. I think that's a significant thing to pay attention to in this story. He's not coming in with like, oodles of lovey-dovey, like, hey, I want to establish contact with you so I can send you naked pictures of myself. It's not about, hey, I want to establish contact with you so then we can immediately start, engaging in like some crazy over the top, like, romance. It's I want to build something stable. I want to be friends. I want to start getting to know you. That is the reason I think it's so incredibly appealing to her. He's not coming in to say we need to be in love. He's coming in, I'd like to know who you are. I think that starts them out on a much more stable footing. Now, is she emotional? Yes. Is she loving? Yes. But this is like any good, or I think anyway, any real solid relationship is going to begin with being truly enough, like, friends with somebody, that you build a level of like, I believe that they're not here to do me wrong. I believe that there's somebody I enjoy the company of. I believe they care enough to get to know who I am. They're not after me for whatever. There's a million different reasons that people go after other individuals, right? Just pure sensuality, or I want this person on my arm, or I want to make somebody else jealous, or this is my rebound. All of those would be pretty negative reasons to pursue getting to know somebody, because you're never going to get to know them anyway if it's any of those reasons, because that was never your motive. His motive is very pure. I like her. I want to get to know her better. So I got to tell her that. She's responding with, how awesome it is, how good I feel that he's not coming in with like crazy amounts of romance. This feels like, oh my God, I'd love to talk to him. Her response is Page of Pentacles, sincere interaction. This almost feels like they're going to feel like family before they're going to feel like lovers. Now, maybe this doesn't even become lovers. I mean, that's possible too. But there is definitely a bond between two amazing people that's going to be established. That 10 of Pentacles is like, you feel like one of my family members. You feel like one of my soulmate members. I think she may respond with something just like that. Again, we're not talking romance. We're talking about bonding, which is, I mean, certainly another form of bonding is the romantic bonding. But I love the fact that these two are beginning with the bond of, the trust of family, the people that would be in our inner circle. I want to build that. I want you in my inner circle. 5 of Pentacles. From the 10 of Pentacles to the 5 of Pentacles. You know what? I think she could really use, I don't know if she's gone through a loss recently, or she's been left high and dry, or she's had, some vacancy in her life. But I think if ever there were a time where she could really use a friend, a person in her life that cares to get to know her, now is the time. Let me go back and ask, is that why we start out with him having these moments of clarity? Sometimes when people are bonded in some energetic fashion without realizing it, they will find themselves intuitively knowing, like, okay, I'll use this as an example. My dog, like, he knows if you have a boo-boo on your elbow, he's going to come up and he's going to like sniff around your boo-boo. He's going to know, even for a stranger. And I'm like, no, please don't try to lick people's boo-boos. Aries, it's very nice that you want to heal everybody, but we're not going to do that. I have to keep an eye on him because he wants to fix everybody's boo-boos, their little shins, the elbows, whatever. But I feel like there's that compassionate, intuitive, like, I'm drawn to somebody. And I'm not saying he's drawn to her because she's hurt and he needs to go fix her, but rather he's already drawn to her. But in truth, now, out of all times, he may be intuitively drawn toward her for a reason he can't even put his finger on. Like, maybe he's overcoming any of his own like worries or inhibitions and saying, I feel like I just want to go ahead and reach out to her now. And it may simply be because if somebody else that we care about is at like a moment of a disadvantage, like, let's give another scenario. Say you work in the office with somebody and your work colleague, you like them, but you've never had the courage to kind of like step into their personal space a little bit and get to know them better. And then one day you can just see the look on their face. They're like gray. As a human, I'm going to approach that person. Something went on in their life, and I'm going to find a way to, catch them in a quiet corner and be like, hey, are you okay? You don't have to tell me, but I just couldn't help but notice. All of a sudden you step into like sharing that moment, that intimacy of like, I notice you, and that kind of like awareness. I do feel like she comes across as very alone at the moment with that 8 of Cups, but that might be what he's responding to, whether or not his conscious brain knows it. There's sometimes this can be an isolating card. Or it just is like somebody who's kind of drifting out there on their own. And maybe that's the other reason, like almost it might instill the protector instinct in him as a masculine. He may notice that she is kind of out there on her own. This is definitely her as the octopus because she was the Queen of Cups, and octopus are incredibly intelligent creatures and very sensitive, and they experience the world differently than most animals. You know, they taste the world with their little suckers, but they say they're as smart as like a 2 or 3 year old, but very shy creatures also. Five of Pentacles again. So he's picking up on some energy of loneliness in her right now, for sure. I don't know if there's like his, we see like the nervous system here, if there's like a, you know, like a parasympathetic nervous system is like clicked on in him, and he's like, must protect, must heal, must nurture. But there is definitely, to have that card come out twice, he is getting a vibe off of her for sure. And no, she's not the poor wounded bird exactly, but everybody needs somebody sometimes. Which is okay. There's another song. Good. That one might push out the other one in my head. Everybody needs somebody sometimes. We got Judgment. Definitely a divine inspiration. You notice the hand of the universe, whether we want to call that God or a spirit or the universe or creator or whatever, it doesn't matter. God, goddess, you give it whatever name you want. It's all the same anyway. Is kind of like shining the light on this right now. Maybe this is a story about more than one or two single individuals, because we actually see a whole amalgam of humanity kind of in, this is a little bit of like a tip of the hat to like Bosch's, you know, depiction of hell. And it's like, sometimes it is hell down here, but it's because we make it bad. But on the other hand, humans also have the power to make each other's lives a lot better. Now, we didn't see her going through hell, so to speak, but we certainly see the struggles of a lot of different people. And I'm wondering if the divine is like inspiring individuals right now as a whole, that if you're thinking about somebody that you like, that you care about, that you've wanted to talk to for all the right reasons, that you feel drawn to, maybe now is a good time for humans in general to connect. And so I'm wondering if, only because of this one card, I'm wondering if this is like the general message is being sent out, you know, by the universe. Like, hey, y'all, you do realize that the reason you're drawn to certain people is because of your own empathy, but also because there are people that maybe you have, maybe it's time to connect to soulmates, whether it's for romance or whether it's just for togetherness. I like the fact that this story isn't so focused on like passion and love, or I should say, it's not so focused on passion and romance. It is definitely focused on love, but it's about reaching out and connecting. Let me go over to her for just a second. Girl of Swords, Six of Wands. Again, we just keep seeing that. By the way, this is the Page of Swords in any other deck, and we've got all these rubies and gems, and we also have Dragonfly, which is about, you know, taking action, moving forward, and then we have this really lovely energy of feeling super successful. This is gathering information, feeling amazing, and then actually having a pretty nice, successful energy. So for her, I think she wants to get to know him just as much, but it is a huge, I'll say, compliment to her that he would be reaching out at all. I don't even know if she knew that she needed somebody in her life, but this is lovely, absolutely lovely. And the ability to like learn about each other, get to know each other, move toward getting to know another human being, that just feels really, really good on her part. It might be very soothing, very healing, also very restorative to find that somebody is interested in connecting to her. So I really feel like right now it is the divine masculine that is being awoken by the hand of the divine. Boy of Wands. And this is actually, I know we give this card a bad rap oftentimes. You know, this is the Knight of Wands, which is like, oh, the player, the cheater. Really, though, a Knight of Wands is just a very heart-centered and creative action taker. So our knights are always the action takers. And admittedly, this is a character who might impulsively follow what their heart wants to go and explore, not knowing necessarily if they're going to stay or if they're going to build. They are, all of the knights are still in the data gathering phase. but he follows his heart. Now, sometimes it gets him into trouble because he follows his heart right into somebody's bed, even if it's like, I wanted to explore this, I don't know if it's going to work. I wasn't thinking about that. I was just thinking about what my heart felt. I want to go explore. So that's why they can get a bad rap. In this storyline, I think that this is the exact opposite. This is the best version of a Knight of Wands. We have to follow our heart, even though we don't know what the end result's going to be. If we didn't have the capacity to do that, we'd never do anything. He seems to be very musically attuned. You notice that he's and very romantic for sure, but very warm. And I think the only reason that he's able to like hear the call from the divine is because he's in a heart-centered space. He's also, though, very grounded. So his action is being driven by warmth, but he's still a very grounded and even logical king. But he is operating from his heart space and doing something maybe a little out of character for him to just like randomly reach out to somebody that he wants to get to know. But I feel like, hallelujah, that he is able to tap into that part of himself. And nothing about this says that it's going to become some, hit and run kind of lover. Is it Neil Diamond who sings "Turn on Your Heart Light"? That's in my head right now because of those two cards. All right, final message here. Ace of Swords again. We began with it twice, and now we're ending with Ace of Swords. We have a decidedly Western vibe at this time. This reminds me very much of like being out in the deserts of Arizona. We've got like a beautiful tip of the hat to Native American culture here. It doesn't have to be, North American necessarily, but that is just what the card shows us. But the Ace of Swords, again, is the message of when you know what you need to do, you need to just do it. I always feel like, and it's not like I'm extensively well read on this subject, but from what limited knowledge I have about different Native American nations, there's so much, attunement to like the natural world. And I feel like this is really nice because it brings, normally the Ace of Swords is like a personal card of my intellect tells me what to do. I've thought of this and I'm going to speak this and I'm going to pursue this. But this card brings it into, yes, but you're connecting to your innermost nature. You're not just randomly like going to steamroll your way into something because you decided, move, bitch, get out the way. I'm doing this. It's not that attitude. There is an essence of, I understand my true nature. I understand, the connection to the universe or Mother Earth or, the energy flow of all living things. And that speaks through me. And that tells me the truth of what I feel that I want to gravitate to go do. So it's much more spiritual connection. That's what's prompting this action, this communication on his part. It's somebody tapping into their heart space, but it's also somebody tapping into like their truest nature, if that makes any sense. It's a beautiful and different way to look at the Ace of Swords. I wish that was kind of integrated into most Ace of Swords cards, but that is why I like different decks, because I see it differently depending on which deck we're holding. And I think that gives us a new like appreciation for who a character is and the subtleties of how they can be so different from, one character to the next. All right, I'm going to leave this here. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Hey, Apple Holo, AC, Ginger Montague. Hey, sweetheart. Okay, Ginger, I left you a message, by the way, because when I saw you last night in the live, and I think you said you're a May baby, right? If you, every like week when I post in the community section a message for members, that is the post because we started a new members perk. So anyway, I just wanted you to see that before May is out. So anyway, if you catch that members post, you'll know what I'm talking about. All right, you guys, great to see you. Sandy, thanks again, Apple Holo. I love that. You keep the third owl to yourself. 2 owls is enough to bring in an emperor. You're so cute. Lisbeth, wonderful to see you, sweetheart. Boss L, hey. Thank you, Sam from the UK. Hey, little dragon. Awesome to see you. Hi, Robin. Legina Davis, great to catch you in the daytime. Usually I see you late at night. Decoded, awesome to see you, love. Thank you for the butterfly. Deborah, oh my gosh, I almost never get to see you in a live. What a nice treat. Toinette Raven, Sweet Carolina, Sam Anita, hey, hey. No, Sam Anita, I didn't forget about you. How did you miss it? I did carp for you. Yeah, I definitely did. Did you not watch the members video? Because I think that's where I did it yesterday on Tarot Dog, right? I have to go back and look, but I'm quite certain that it was on Tarot Dog. Or no, it was in that video, wasn't it? You were with me live, right? And I said, I'll pull a card for you at the end. Which video was that, San Juanita? Now I got to go back and double check, but I would, unless I'm tripping, it's not like I couldn't be, but I would swear that at the end of that video, I pulled a card for you. You're the reason I was inspired to add it in the new perk on the members corner. That's why I'm like, no, I'm like 99.999% sure that I absolutely got to you, but we'll figure it out. Hey, Nick, it was yesterday. Was it in it wasn't a Taurus video. Let me know, San Juanita, which video it was. I didn't do that many, so it shouldn't be that hard to find, but right now, off the top of my head, I can't remember which video we were in. Hey, guys. Don Divine, Ida, Marie McMillian. Oh, awesome to see you also, hun. Be Hot, D. Rogers, wonderful to catch you. And Annie, you were first in the room. I know I haven't caught you in a live for a little bit either. The Capricorn video should be all done, and we'll check that out. All right, you guys. JD Stara. Well, let's definitely go find out. No, JD Stara, we will get a Pisces and an Aquarius still out today, okay? That'll be later on this evening. All right, you guys. Hey, shout out to you from South Carolina. All right. Absolutely, JD Stara. San Juanita, do you remember which video? You said on Monday, members of... Are you saying that was the video that we were in together? Was it the Monday members video? Was it when I was pulling cards for members? Okay, so San Juanita, you were the first person I pulled cards for that day. In the Monday members video, you would have been the very first person. Okay, we'll go back and check. Okay, I'm glad that you know which video it was. That's super helpful. Let me jump over there right now and I'll take a look. All right, bye guys. Lots of love. Yeah, wonderful to see you. Bye guys.